matter what you do to me, Luther.
Look at him fly!
The plans will work.
Oh, look at, look at.
Wrap it up.
What's good, nigga? Back with another video, man. You know, we gotta post a good little video, good little Superman video before this movie come out. You know what I'm saying? We hype, man. If you hype with me, man, let me know in the comments. Give me a like in the comments, man. Give me a like, give me a like, give me a comment, give me a subscribe. You know, give me everything, cause I am so excited. If you're a member, if you're a subscriber of the channel, let me know how excited you are in the comments. I'm so excited, man. Literally a week away, like not even a week away, probably like a few more days away. Like I'm seeing it July 2nd. When everybody else is seeing it, you know, July 11th. 'Cause I got the Amazon Prime screening, you know what I'm saying? So I'm so excited, man. I hope y'all are excited as I am too. Let me know in the comments. But we're gonna get into this new reaction by a member, a recurring channel we watched, Mr. Headcanon, how Superman can beat the Fantastic Four. Man, I honestly think Superman is going to just not only be a better movie, but I feel like Superman is a more important movie in the sense of like, I feel like Superman is something like, I would say kind of like we need, in the sense that we need just hope. We need a positive movie that we can just get behind. We can all get behind and all enjoy and all just take our mind, like not take our mind away from shit. Obviously, we need to focus on the shit that's happening around us, because if we don't focus on that, we're all gonna get fucked. But we're just letting, like, having a positive message in a movie, an uplifting message, a message about hope that we need in these like crazy times we're living in right now in the U.S. If you live in the U.S. But yeah, I'm so excited. Fantastic Four, I feel like is going to do good. Honestly, I still want to see both movies. Don't get me wrong. I want to see both. But I'm really interested in seeing how Superman does, because I want to see if the DCU can really like make a full like turnaround, like truly turn DC's name from, oh my god, DC makes dark and edgy and stupid movies and they're all bad and they don't connect, and to, oh my god, bro, the DCU is fire, bro. The DCU ain't no, bro, the Marvel MCU is out of here, bro. The DCU on top, bro. Like, obviously, would I want both the MCU and DCU to be at top, and both firing at all cylinders? Yes, I want both to win, because if both win, we win as a consumer, because all we get is good superhero movies. So I want both to win. But I'm really rooting for DC, because I feel like DC is in a trying time, and this is a very monumental moment in the DC just brand. Like, if this doesn't work, the DCU is kind of cooked. So I'm just hoping that, you know, James Gunn can make this a good movie, get people out to the theaters, you know, hopefully get that box office looking right for that opening weekend, you know what I'm saying? So before we get into this video, got a comic of the day. So, you know, James Gunn talked about, you know, how his DC story, his DC chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, is going to lead to a big, somewhat kind of like a Justice League, big Avengers Endgame level event. A lot of people speculated different things as to what the what the actual storyline he could be pulling from the comics. And one of the books that I'm pretty sure he's gonna pull from, the comic of the day, The New Frontier. You know what I'm saying? It's so clean. Don't look, you know what I'm saying? R.I.P. Darwin Cook, the motherfucking GOAT, bro. If you know anything about The New Frontier, this book, know that Darwin Cook is a fucking legend. I actually watched the movie before I actually got the book, but yeah, I just got it shipped in a few days ago. But yeah, I love Justice League New Frontier. It's probably one of my favorite Justice League stories in general. Like, I just love the all-encompassing vibe of like the eras of the 60s and 70s. Like, it's just like, it feels so like coming of age, but they're all like in their 20s and 30s. It's weird. But yeah, it's fun. I love this book. Very much a book they can definitely pull from. Definitely. I feel like this and Justice League International, they're definitely gonna pull from. But I've done enough talking. Without further ado, let's get into the reaction.
Superman and the Fantastic Four are hitting theaters just 14 days apart. They're going to be battling it out at the box office.
Yes, sir.
One of these two behemoths is bound to be the biggest hit of the year, and they're both battling for the fans' love.
Telling
this showdown
you.
could shape the future of the whole genre, because Superman's got the job of selling us on the rest of the DCU. And the Fantastic Four need to convince us to go watch Doomsday and Secret Wars. But which one is going to win this epic face-off? Today we're going to compare these two movies in 4 categories to figure out which one fans are going to like more and which one's going to bring in more juicy cash.
4 categories,
I'll give a point
okay.
to the winner of each category, and whoever ends up with the most points by the end of the video will be the winner.
Let's go, let's go, let's go!
The first
Let's go.
category is how popular the characters are. This one's super important for the box office because lately a lot of people only go to the movies if they know the characters. It's
Just gonna pause it here real quick. I personally feel like it's Superman because I feel like Superman is definitely a 4th quadrant film. Shout out to Robert Meyer Burnett from John Campy Show. But I'll say Superman's a really a 4th quadrant film because it really does appeal to the older generation as well. Because the older generation really grew up with Superman. Like even in the 60s and like even like 1960s, but millennials now, like I feel like their Superman is Christopher Reeve still in like that era, and just the era of Superman being this positive figure, not the Man of Steel, Zack Snyder era. They remember Superman being a hopeful figure. So I feel like Superman is definitely going to appeal more to just the general audience because Superman's just that. He's still the big 3. Like let's not act like Superman's still not the big 3. So I feel like Superman's just a more popular character than the Fantastic Four just in general. The Fantastic Four hasn't had a real hit movie. Hopefully this is gonna be a hit movie. I'm praying, but they really haven't had like a hit movie that people have all like unanimously like, oh my god, that is Fantastic Four. Everything's been like mixed reviews, so I'm giving to Superman.
Coincidence that the biggest hits after Endgame were No Way Home and Deadpool and Wolverine, where some of the most popular superheroes ever showed up, and the Fantastic Four,
hold up, my bad.
superheroes ever showed up. Meanwhile, a really good movie like Thunderbolts didn't even make its budget back, just because the main characters weren't that well known.
Facts.
Here it looks like Superman and the Fantastic Four are pretty even, since they're classic heroes who were super important to each publisher's history.
Yeah.
Superman is the first superhero ever.
Literally,
The
that's what I'm
genre wouldn't
saying.
even exist without him. He's one of the most iconic characters in pop culture, and he's known and loved by people of all ages.
All over the
He became
world.
such a huge symbol.
Internationally,
Folks who don't care
this
about
whole gonna do good as
still
fuck.
recognize his logo and know his story. That's why he's never fallen out of the top 5 most popular superheroes in the world,
Facts.
even in years when he didn't have a movie of his own.
Facts.
Even the news talked about the death of Superman back in 1990.
Yes, like it was a
It was
monumental.
a real-world event.
Yes.
The Fantastic Four are kind of similar, since they've got some amazing stories that changed the game for sci-fi.
But
Plus, their comics introduced a ton of major Marvel characters.
waiting for that but.
Black Panther, Uatu, Silver Surfer. and
Obviously,
Inhumans.
monumental.
This is also where key ideas for the whole universe first appeared, like the Kree-Skrull War
Mhm.
and the Negative
Galactus,
Zone.
all
Even though
that.
It didn't make
Yeah.
headlines on TV. Issue number 60 of the Fantastic Four, published in 2022, sold over 700,000 copies. That comic made it into the top 6 best-selling comics in history.
R.I.P.
But sadly, their impact outside of
Ringo.
comics just isn't the same. This
Artist,
group's
I
never had a
think.
live-action movie that really did them justice. They've never been a box office hit like Superman, and on top of that, they totally disappeared after 2015.
Yeah.
After this flop that nobody liked, they were gone from animated shows.
They even put them in suits, bro. They put them in like these black
Marvel
little.
actually canceled their main regular series for 3 years because of the rights issues with Fox and because the comics weren't selling well. We didn't get new Fantastic Four comics again until 2018, and they only just recently showed up outside the comic book world
Yes.
in Marvel Rivals.
And they're going
It's not enough to
crazy.
match the cultural presence that Superman has. This guy is trending on social
Thank
media
you.
anytime there's a leaked photo
Of this
some tweet by
movie.
James Gunn gets taken out of context.
The hype is
Steve has
real.
had a way bigger presence in movies, and he's all over the place right now. There's Superman and Lois on CW. My
Yes.
Adventures with Superman on
Yes.
HBO, and he even showed up in
They're
some
changing
movies.
it.
But don't
They're
get me
changing.
wrong,
They're
I know
rebranding
the
now.
Fantastic Four have a super loyal fan base that's been waiting decades for a proper adaptation, so their movie might pull in strong numbers on opening weekend. But it's going to be really tough for it to have the same cultural impact or buzz that Superman's going to have. This film's been trending ever since Gunn announced the reboot. Maybe the Fantastic Four can catch up and become just as popular as Superman in the next few years.
Yeah.
If this live action is amazing and their future appearances hit the mark. But for now, the point for popularity goes to Superman.
Superman, I'm telling you.
Of
I
course,
bet
that's not the only thing that
you.
matters. If just being popular guaranteed box office success, then Superman Returns would have made more than Iron Man 1, and that wasn't the case. That brings us to the second category, the track record of each studio. Since these two movies are part of
Yeah.
bigger cinematic universes, we've got to look at how past projects were received. If you think this doesn't matter, just remember how
It does
Ant-Man 2
matter.
made $600 million thanks to the hype from Infinity War.
Literally,
and
that movie was
the MCU
ass.
was in a great
The movie was
place, and
ass.
super hyped. On the flip side, a universe with a bad rep can tank any movie. Just look at Sony's Spider-Man-less universe.
Ugh.
Every movie they dropped after Morbius turned into a meme, and people just didn't want to see them in theaters because the whole universe was a mess. So where do DC and
joke.
Marvel stand right now? The MCU isn't in that phase anymore where they could toss anything into theaters, and fans would rush to see it just because it had the Marvel logo. If it were, Brave New World would have made way more than $400 million. Thunderbolts wouldn't have lost money, and Born Again wouldn't have missed Nielsen's top 10, which tracks weekly viewership on TV and streaming platforms. But that doesn't mean fans are unhappy. Marvel still dropped some awesome stuff lately, like X-Men 97, Friendly
I'm waiting for
Neighborhood
that.
Spider-Man,
Yes.
Deadpool, and Wolverine. The
Yes.
problem is, they've kind of lost the casual audience. Still, their
And it's
numbers
not
are way ahead of
consistent
DC's.
either.
Is that so?
After the pandemic, Marvel's only had 3 box office flops: Quantumania, The Marvels, and Thunderbolts. And 2 of those were just a few million short of being profitable. But out of DC's last 10 movies, only 1 actually made money, and
Yeah.
most got slammed by critics and fans.
Ugh.
The Joker franchise is
The
done.
Flash.
The old DCU is dead and buried. Batman's the only character that sells tickets, and the fan base is completely split. But it's not all bad news. This past year, DC's done some really good stuff. Fans got emotional with the end of Superman and Lois. Season
Man, I
2
love
of
that
My
show.
Adventures with Superman was a hit on HBO Max. The Penguin became one of the best superhero shows ever, and
Mhm.
Creature Commandos totally blew expectations out of the water. You could say this doesn't really count, since only one of those projects is actually connected to the new DCU, and everything else happens in different universes. But the key thing is that the DC brand is bouncing back. A few years ago, people would run the other way if they saw that white and blue logo. But now,
Yeah.
DC Studios is starting to stand for quality.
Come on,
that doesn't
man.
mean people are going to pack theaters to see Superman just because they like the Penguin, but at least no one's embarrassed to say they're a DC fan anymore.
Yeah.
So I'd say this category is a tie.
If
Marvel's
we
still
just
leading
keep
when
it
comes to
consistent
box
quality,
office,
we
since
don't
even
try
the
to
worst
push out a
projects
bunch of
make more money
bullshit
than
content,
DC's. But if we're talking about
they
quality
gonna be
and how
up.
fans reacted, DC's recent stuff got way more love. So it's more money versus more fan love, which means the fair call is to give 1 point to each for the studio.
Okay, fair.
By the way,
That's
if you're
fair.
enjoying this, don't forget to subscribe and steer clear of cheap knockoffs. I've got plenty more versus videos coming up. The third category is the actors. It's not really about
Oh,
who's
yeah.
hotter or who looks more like the comic book characters. I know that last part might be tough to hear, but let's be real. Pedro
Pascal,
doesn't
yeah.
exactly look like Reed Richards, and people still accepted him once they saw him suited up as Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
What really matters is their charisma, acting skills, and star power. Basically, how many people would go to the movies
To
just
see,
because
yeah,
they're
it's
good? If you think this
yeah.
doesn't matter,
It
go ahead
does.
and tell me the last time a superhero movie with a bunch of
Look at Top Gun Maverick. Come on now.
all the Avengers movies,
F1.
Spider-Man, Deadpool, and even the latest Batman had big name stars who were already well established.
Come on now.
If actors' faces didn't sell tickets, Marvel wouldn't have dropped $80 million
Thank
bucks to get
you.
Robert Downey Jr. back.
Thank you. Let's be real.
A lot of money.
These two casts couldn't be more different. James Gunn went with younger, lesser-known actors who looked just like their comic
Which
book
I'm happy
characters.
about.
Except maybe Nathan Fillion, who might be a bit old to play Guy Gardner. The rest looks spot on. If Superman does well, it could launch a bunch of these actors into stardom because they've got the potential. But right now, nobody in the Superman cast has real star power. David Corenswet is almost a total unknown and hasn't been nominated for anything major. Skylar Gassando did a solid job in Licorice Pizza, but he's never had a
Oh,
major role in
yeah.
a big project. Anthony Carrigan crushed it in Barry, but people might not even recognize him with all the
Oh, we'll make it,
Rachel
yeah.
Brosnahan has more of a track record since she's won a bunch of awards for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. But for now, she's still seen as a TV star, not a big Hollywood name. The most well-known name is Nicholas Hoult, who's a good actor, but he's not as popular as Tom Cruise or Dwayne Johnson. I believe all of these guys have the potential to be
No,
amazing.
they have the
and become
potential,
icons.
man. I'm telling
Cavill
you.
was
I
also
can't
a nobody
wait.
before Man of Steel, and now fans love the guy so much they'll watch him build a PC. But as
Yeah.
of now, they're not big names. Someone might say that's actually a good thing, because
Bro.
people going to see Superman will be doing it for the characters, not just because they're fans of the actors. But having more famous faces would definitely help with the box office,
For sure.
especially with casual audiences. On top of that, a lot of fans are still mourning the death of the old DCU, so they're going to compare these new actors with the old ones they'd already gotten attached to. Some Cavill fans will probably nitpick every little thing Corenswet does, just to say he's not as good as the previous Superman. Same thing happened.
And those
with
aren't real
Batman
Superman
when
fans.
Affleck as Batman, and before that, when Affleck replaced Christian Bale.
It will happen again.
That's not going to happen with the Fantastic Four because the last time we saw this group on the big screen was 10 years ago in a terrible movie that nobody liked. No one is going to compare Pedro Pascal to Miles Teller just to make the new Reed Richards look bad.
Yeah.
Teller's a great actor, but nobody really fell in love with his version.
Yeah, no one cared,
Fantastic,
yeah.
Mainly because the material he had to work with was awful. The only possibly controversial casting choice is Julia Garner as Silver Surfer, but it's not about her talent.
Yeah.
She's won 3 Emmys and a Golden Globe for Ozark, so you know she's got the skills. The issue is that Marvel decided to use Shala Bal, the female herald from Earth X, instead of introducing Norrin Rad. But this isn't even close to the drama over Superman's recasting, because Silver Surfer isn't the main character.
Yeah.
Plus, it's forgivable, since this movie takes place in a different
It's
universe.
not even that serious.
It's only a matter of time before Marvel brings in the usual Silver Surfer for the 616 universe. But the key thing is that Marvel took a different approach to casting. Instead of betting on rising stars, Marvel went with actors who are already well-known, proven, and recently on a hot streak. Pedro Pascal is Hollywood's heartthrob right now. He's played all your favorite characters and has a bunch of nominations from critics groups, like the Critics' Choice Awards. Anyone into geeky stuff recognizes his face because he's been
in everything.
Vanessa Kirby got an Oscar nomination and boosted her fame thanks to the Mission Impossible franchise.
Oh,
Joseph
yeah.
Quinn blew up after Stranger Things and became a fan favorite among teens and people in their 20s and 30s, which is exactly Marvel's target audience. I'm not worried he'll just play the same charming guy role to make your girlfriend fall in love with him again. He already proved he's got range in A Quiet Place Day 1, where he had to bring his A game to hold his own next to Lupita Nyong'o. If he wasn't good, it would have really stood out.
Yeah.
And Eben Moss Bachrach won the Emmy for Best Supporting Actor in The Bear. He might not be as famous to the general public, but again, he's already shown what he's capable of. There's just no contest here. The Fantastic Four have a huge advantage. The
Yeah.
point goes to Marvel.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
And now we've got the fourth category.
Come
the most important
on,
one of
the
all,
tiebreaker.
quality of the movie. None of the stuff we've talked about matters if one of these movies
It's
turns
ass,
out great
yeah.
and the other one sucks. Superman might lead the box office on opening weekend thanks to the character's popularity, but if the story sucks, word's gonna get out, and the numbers will crash hard the following week. And let's be real, what we really care about is having a great time at the movies with an awesome adaptation of
But
this
yes, a great
like I said
story.
at the beginning, money isn't everything. But you're probably wondering how we can judge quality if the movies aren't out yet. Seems impossible. But between the promotional material and early screenings, both movies have given us a little taste. On June 19th, the lucky few
Let's
got
talk
to see
about
the
it.
first 30 minutes of Superman.
That was
The reactions
crazy.
were super positive. Resident Justice said it feels like an episode of
Yes.
an animated series.
Bro, I got so
Tone.
sprung when I heard
Called
that
it a
shit.
generational moment and a home run with great acting and solid special effects. Good Joe said you have to see it in IMAX because the flying scenes are amazing.
Oh my
And in front
God,
of
they look so
audiences,
dynamic too in the trailers.
For the good news.
Of course, we shouldn't take those comments too seriously, since they're coming from people who were invited to a fan event. It'd be pretty weird for them to say anything negative,
Yeah.
because that might mean they don't get invited again. And it wouldn't be the first time early DC screenings gave weird results. I still remember when The Flash got the best test scores since The Dark Knight. We all saw how that turned out. It was
Yeah.
pure bait. We could say the same thing about some of the Fantastic Four reactions. Marvel's been keeping a tight lid on leaks for their recent movies, and they've basically cut off the insiders. So all we've got is feedback from one fan who went to a special screening. This person said the movie moves at a good pace, Galactus looks awesome, and the group's chemistry is solid. There was even an employee
I didn't hear about the
asking people
Fantastic
what they
Four
thought
leaks.
after the screening, and apparently a lot of folks gave it really high scores. But there was also one guy nearby who said the movie was mid. Then the usual clickbait crew, like Jeff Snyder,
okay.
My Time to Shine Hello, and Daniel RPK, jumped all over that part and built a whole negative narrative around the movie just to boost their engagement. They
Oh,
even tweeted
wow.
that people were yelling mid during the
Oh,
credits.
yeah, no.
Just as
Yeah, I heard about
Jeff
this.
Snyder
I heard
went
about
so
this,
far as to
yeah,
claim
yeah.
his sources said the whole thing was a disaster. But we know that's a lie because he was just basing it off that
Yeah.
one user's comment. Even so, if we're just going by early...
Why they want this movie to fail?
Superman
I don't want
seems
this movie to
be looking a little
fail.
better, but
I want
we gotta
both
take a
to
more
do
serious
good.
look. Let's break down all the promo material to figure out who's actually got the edge. Both movies have a classic, uplifting tone with bright,
Retro,
colorful
futuristic
visuals. It looks like
vibes.
most of the characters are going to stick close to their comic designs. Superman is moving away from the vibe of Man of Steel, which probably won't sit well with Snyder fans. But it's leaning more toward the Christopher Reeve version, something that could click more with general audiences.
General
Also,
audiences.
The movie's packed with characters to give it that crossover big event feel, which is exactly the kind of thing people want to see in theaters.
Yeah, they want to
Visuals
have
are spot
a
on,
cultural
and James Gunn
phenomenon.
seems
They want to be
using
part of a
Superman's
cultural
powers in
conversation.
creative new ways. He's He's even taking cues from Top Gun Maverick for the flying scenes. The
And
only
you can
shot
see
that
it.
felt a bit off was the one with the crazy eyes, but Gunn confirmed he cut that from the final version.
It's not
So
that
no
deep.
worries there. Meanwhile, Fantastic Four has a retro-futuristic vibe because it's set in another universe. That means it's going to have a look that's totally different from any other superhero movie we've seen so far. That could really stand out, and it looks like Galactus is finally getting a proper live-action adaptation. But even though the whole planet's at risk from this world-devouring threat, the story feels a lot more contained and personal than Superman. There are fewer characters, and the tone of the movie doesn't really feel all that epic. That's not a
Yeah.
bad thing, though, because what makes the Fantastic
Like,
Four special is seeing them interact as a family. All the teasers show that the cast has great chemistry, like when Johnny tells Reed he finally respects him, or when he asks Ben to say his classic catchphrase. Moments
Yeah.
like those can make people fall in love with these characters and turn them into new MCU favorites. But so far, we haven't seen much of them in action. Maybe Marvel's saving the good stuff for the movie, and they don't want to spoil everything in the trailers, like Superman did. But so far, Johnny's the only one who really uses his powers a few times. The effects look good,
Yeah.
but nothing has wowed me the way Superman's flying
Superman's
scenes.
flying
So,
scene,
here's
he'll
where
feel like
things
a
stand.
rocket,
It looks
like a
Superman is
full-ass
going to deliver
rocket.
better fight scenes, make more creative use of everyone's powers, and go for a much more epic tone.
I do
On the
feel
other hand,
that.
Fantastic Four might have more developed, interesting characters and a stronger villain. The
Yeah.
thing is, with Fantastic Four, all of that is
More
just
cosmic
potential. We're only going
level.
off a couple of lines from the trailers.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little unfair, and I'll regret it in 2 weeks. But for now, the point for quality goes to Superman. That gives us a final score of 3 points. for Superman and 2 for Fantastic Four. So Superman is looking like it'll be the best superhero movie of the year, and probably the biggest box office hit too. The first trailer pulled in over 250 million views in its first 24 hours.
Bro, that
According to
first
Pandora,
trailer
the
was
movie sold more tickets on
everything.
its first day than any
I
other
keep
movie.
saying
But
that.
Superman does have one issue. There are already 4 confirmed villains, and that usually doesn't go too
Oh,
well in
yeah.
superhero movies. We've all seen
Too
what
many
happened in Spider-Man
villains.
3 and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So the real question is if James Gunn can actually pull off a movie with this many villains. I'll answer that in this video.
Yeah. Hopefully. Hey man, that was a great video, man. Shout out to Mr. Headcanon, man. Always like, I feel like telling a realistic, not, obviously, he might be a little bit, I don't feel like he's skewed, honestly. I feel like he's generally being honest, to be honest with you. I feel like the major consensus online is that Superman was probably gonna do better than Fantastic Four. Like, that's the main consensus. That's like the majority of consensus. People are more excited for Superman than Fantastic Four, I feel like. Because Superman is a start to not only just a new universe, it's the first Superman movie had since set in a decade, bro. We haven't had a Superman movie in what, 13 years, something like that, some shit like that. It's crazy. Like it's been too long since we had Superman in the public consciousness. So I feel like this is definitely it feels more monumental. It feels more epic. It feels more like a big event. And I'm telling you, movies nowadays, that's why the movie going habits are starting to change. Now people are just only going to movies if they're big talk movies, like if they're movies that are the talk of the town. Like if they're movies that can be a part of a big cultural conversation, they're going to see that movie because they want to be a part of that. They want to be a part of the big thing that everybody's talking about. If everybody's talking about it, it's like, damn, I want to know what everybody's talking about. So just like, it gets everybody curious. So Superman really needs a good word of mouth. But I feel like Superman has already made every step it can to be a great movie, from the marketing. And I will say this time and time again. I've said this in like every video I try to make about Superman. That first trailer, my nigga, set the tone for the whole movie, and it was so important. It's such a pivotal moment in Superman's whole marketing. If that first trailer was not as good as it was, niggas would not be talking about this movie. If that trailer did not have that shot with Superman saving that girl when the pipe bottles like flying through him, like the big gas and shit, like saving the girl. Like, nigga, when that shot happened, nigga, everybody gasped. It's like, oh, that's Superman, and they felt that wonder. They felt like a kid again. Like that's what Superman is honestly going to feel like. I feel like in the movie. And also, I do agree with what Mr. Headcanon said about the more creative uses of the power. Because I feel like I've heard people talk about what they've heard about like the power usage in the Fantastic Four movie, and people have been saying Reed Richards is probably like the most. He's kind of the less utilized in terms of like his stretching ability, which kind of sucks. Cause I really wanted to see like crazy shit of him like stretching his body and doing a bunch of weird shit to like, you know what I'm saying? Like the shit that you see in the comics, the shit where you see the fucking, he does the fucking eyes and his fucking big boogly eyes. It's stupid, but it's like obviously it's gonna look dumb in CG and in like in real life. But you know, I just want to see that. You know, I don't care. But yeah, I'm really thinking Fantastic Four is gonna be more of a sleeper hit. I feel like it's still gonna be a good movie, but I feel like it's not going to have as much of like I guess maybe not a cultural consciousness, but as much of a talk. I just feel like it's not going to be a monumental movie. I feel like to most people, they see Fantastic Four as just another MCU movie. Superman feels like, bro, this is the Superman movie, bro. We finally getting a Superman movie, and this feel like it's a whole new universe now. We restarting the whole shit now. Got a whole new universe. We got James Gunn, the nigga that worked from the MCU, brought him over to the DCU. Now he doing shit for us. He the CEO. He is literally the creator, the creative that became the head of a whole studio. He could literally go all art house with his shit. And that's most likely what he's gonna do with Clayface, which I'm theorizing. But has the keys to the literal castle of DC. Like, he literally just like, and he loves comics. He knows comics. He knows how to make a good movie. So I feel like there's too many green flags for Superman to be bad. I would genuinely be surprised if Superman not as bad, but Superman was just mediocre. Like it was just like, oh, it was all right. I don't see that happening. From all the fights, from the fight scenes to the moments of him talking, getting mad, getting angry, feeling like he that nigga for real, feeling like he's Superman. Like not only with the sense of like him taking care of the kids and him showing him you know, protecting the people of Metropolis and stuff like that, but him also like going up to Lex. And yeah, I don't know if y'all seen that new scene of Superman with Lex, him barging in the room and everything. Bro, that scene, that felt like Superman. That felt like Superman and Lex's whole dynamic. Like him trying to, like at first him trying to, you know, brute force his way, kind of trying to intimidate him, you know, by his power, but realizing that didn't work. He was just like trying to appeal to his emotion. Lex was just like, I don't have no fucking emotions, nigga. I'm Lex Luthor, bitch. Go. Like, nigga, and he talk shit about his dog. Why you sipping the drink, nigga? I'd have been like, and he did that shit. He a sneaky bitch. He did that shit because he knows Superman got super hearing, so he heard that shit the whole time. He's like, niggas, like, what'd you say? He want to see if you said that, if you had the balls to say that shit again, because he would have. Oh, Lex a bitch. I'm already knowing Lex is going to be a fucking menace in that whole movie, and I'm going to love it, bro. I'm going to love it, bro. But yeah, as you can see, I'm clearly more excited for Superman than Fantastic Four, but I want both to do great. Like, both should do amazing. Because if both do good, we get two great superhero movies in the month of July. So win-win. But rambling aside, I'm loving this month right now. I'm so excited for Superman. A few more days, man. I'm gonna let y'all know. I'm gonna post an out of theater reaction probably on the channel, probably on TikTok too. Follow my TikTok at @VTorn_. And yeah, I'm gonna post an out of theater reaction. And then probably a few days after, you know, give people time to watch the movie and everything. Then I'm gonna post a spoiler review. I'm probably gonna record one and then post it later on. So yeah, very, very much excited for Superman and just for July, man. Super fantastic, man. Until then, man, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see y'all niggas.